Good morning. Today is the 20th of March and after the petrol Corsa that you would have seen on my channel, the new Corsa F, I've had a chance to test drive this Corsa-E. Now, if I say Corsa-E in this video, I'm not referring to the previous generation Corsa that was also known as the Corsa-E, because we're now on the Corsa F. I'm talking about the electric Corsa. This car retails just under £31,000. This is the elite specification, which is what apparently most customers choose. It's got unique alloy wheels, which are sort of for better aerodynamics. Special Michelin primacy tyres. Got the little E there, and of course, if we open this up, which is where the petrol flap would be on a normal Corsa, there are the Type 2 and CCS charging points. This car's got about 137 brake horsepower. It's powered by a 50 kilowatt battery with a WLTP range of 209 miles. In terms of rapid charging capability, you can either use a 50 or 100 kilowatt hour or kilowatt. I never remember the difference between the two in terms of charging. I do apologise, all you electric vehicle owners out there, don't hate me, but with a 50 you can charge this car in about 30 minutes to 80%, and with a 50 to 45 minutes, and then with a 100 kilowatt charger, because it will accept the 100, it would be about 30 minutes, which is pretty good. Obviously, if you use a fast charger or a domestic 3-pin, it's going to be a bit longer than that. But yes, let's start by taking a look inside. The interior is very similar to the standard Corsa. Very light doors, obviously for energy saving. It's all very familiar to anyone who's, say, driven a Vauxhall Crossland X or maybe a Grandland X, or even the new Astra K that's just come out, the facelifted one. So we've got keyless entry in this car, of course, so put that down there. USB and a 12-volt socket here. Oh, is that? Yes, a shark. I was wondering where he was. In Vauxhall and Opel cars of the last few years, we've always had a little shark there. I don't know what his name. Let's call him Barry. There's Barry. And it's a little styling feature they like to hide in them. So if we turn the car on, I think I've got to hold this button down. It's very annoying. Right, hold it down. There we go. It's clicked into place. Fantastic. Right, we'll just mute the stereo. There we go. So very different from the standard Corsa F in here. I try to control the lighting as best I can, although that will happen, unfortunately. We've got 2 digital screens. We've got this one here, and we've got this large one here. This is larger than the one in the Corsa SRI nav that I've just tried. We still do, fortunately, have separate heating and ventilation controls down there, and the reflection of my phone because it's piano black. Heated seats. We've got lane keeping assist off here. I think that turns the alarm off, and the parking sensors get turned off. Drive mode selector is just down there. You'll recognise this if you've driven a lot of Peugeot, Citroën and DS products over the last few years. This drive mode selector, this gear selector here, and drive mode. So if I look at the drive modes here, we've got, just point this here so I don't get too much light coming in. We have Sport, which firms the steering up, and then we got normal, and then we got eco. Now eco, if you put this car on eco, it says firm performance and thermal comfort limited, although I found that perfectly adequate for joining a motorway slip rotor. It's not so bad. We've got heated steering wheel, cruise control, all sorts of different buttons here, yes, including the volume controls. You don't feel too bad, although I would say the indicator stalks are still a bit flimsy and not as nice as they used to be. And there's the part from when I had a Chevrolet Cruze, little headlight switch there, it's the same. Again, those switches are probably from the PSA parts bin. I don't particularly like them, but you know, there we go, never mind. Haven't got funny pedals like we had in the previous car. And yes, the electronic handbrake makes a lot more sense in an electric car. I did not like the electronic handbrake in the standard petrol Corsa I tried one bit, although that is not standard in those cars. So yes, go for a conventional handbrake. If I reach over here, you can see I've still got the same problem with the fuse box being here for left-hand drive cars and not being moved for right-hand drive, so the glove box is really small. Then we've got the door bins, are quite nice. I like the upholstery in here a lot more than I liked in the SRI. We haven't got little red flashes and stitching and things like that. You've got nice black conservative colours and a nice light coloured headliner. So it feels a lot more light in here with a black headliner, which is absolutely brilliant. Let's open up the boot and see if there's been any loss of space converting this car from petrol and diesel to electric. There are the connectors that you would need. The boot space to me looks about the same as if it's a petrol one, to be honest. I don't know if there's a difference. Perhaps looking on the Vauxhall website would tell you that. Still got quite a big boot lip and no adjustable boot floor, no 12-volt socket or anything. The boot light here is on, so yes, it's okay. The boot, like so many other panels on this car, the lid feels quite light and there's an enormous Vauxhall badge on there. But overall, it's pretty good, really. If I get inside the back, oh. The doors are a little bit narrow actually, so it's not the easiest car to get in and out of. You just shut the door. Very light doors, but again, oh dear, still got absolutely no legroom really at all. Headroom is okay, and this light coloured headliner makes a massive difference. So much lighter in here than the Corsa SRI, and actually it's a pleasant place to be. Still got no sort of fabric on these rear door cards, still very hard. Little bottle holder down there. There we go. Yep, there it is. No centre rear armrest, unfortunately. No 12-volt socket. No USB port. Bit of a shame, really. I mean, you know, if you look at an MG ZS EV, you get a USB port in the rear, and you don't feel as cramped as you do in here. Obviously, reversing camera is standard in this car, and you need it because the back window is small and the pillars are quite large. So that's what I would recommend. Fortunately, in the front there's an awful lot more space. Stepping in is not really a problem though. It's a bit low, so just watch yourself on that. The steering wheel does adjust for rake and reach. Let me see if I can find the control for that. It's right down there. There we go. There's reach and rake. Do that up. It's not bad in here. I mean, the materials are a lot better in the front. Obviously, we've got this sort of leatherette on the door card here. Little sort of metallic black insert there. It's nice and sparkly. Soft touch material on top of the dashboard, which is good. Leather on the steering wheel feels quite nice. Obviously, taking this out of a sort of Peugeot 508 or whatever it is a sensible idea. There is a regenerative braking mode, which I've been using. You can do it in D or B. Now, if you put it in regenerative braking mode, which is B, then you don't actually get as much regenerative braking as you would do in a lot of other cars, say a BMW i3 or an MG ZS EV, if you pump the regen up to maximum. But at least you do get some. It's not like a Nissan EV pedal though. So let's look at some figures. So this car, as tested here, this is the Elite model. It costs £31,000. The APR on a PCP, I'm only going to show the PCP figures because that's how most people finance their cars, is 4.9%. I've put in here that I do 10,000 miles a year, which is true. If you know, if I'm replacing my Astra Twin Top or something, that's what I would do. The deposit contribution from Vauxhall is £2,000 if you put a £2,000 deposit down, and that comes out at £414.77 a month. Now, bear in mind, if you do take this car on a PCP, which is how normally you'd finance it anyway, you get a free home charger installation, and you get 3 years of servicing included as standard, which is absolutely brilliant. Actually, that's a very good thing to know. Let's take a look more at the central touchscreen. If I just turn the car on, okay, press the brake. There we go. Just look how big these screens are, particularly in the middle one. I do my best to mitigate this light. I apologise for the light levels. There's not an awful lot I can do about it. Once this just sort of comes on, there we are. Don't know why it's saying area not mapped, because I am on a road. There we go. Big central touchscreen, which I like. And look at these physical buttons here to go through all the menus. I like physical buttons. It makes me feel an awful lot better using physical buttons. And of course we've got digital radio. Seems to be a bit of lag on this system, but there we go. Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, of course, as standard. Some vehicle settings here when it actually loads. Come on. There we are. Yes, it's got tyre pressure monitoring. That's very good. Traction control, I think we'll leave that on, because we'll get pretty crazy with 140 horsepower into just a small car. They will be doing, I think, the XR version of this car at some point, so you know, that'll be interesting. I've got 124 miles of range, so WLTP figures are 209, and you know, it's a nice day-to-day. So if I use the eco mode, I'd probably get a bit more as well, just going down hills and things. What's that E setting? Just wait for that to load a bit. Oh yes, there we go. Flow meter and statistics and charge and things. That sounds all interesting. Very good. I like playing around with things like this in electric cars. It's one of the things I think that probably most owners like to play with too. Right, let's take a look under the bonnet. So here we are. It's the 50 kilowatt electric motor generating 137 horsepower. Some of the things, like that coolant reservoir, is the same as on the petrol car. Okay. So you've got a normal 12-volt battery for starting up, running the ancillaries and things. But yeah, other than that, totally different. No 1.2 engine in here, just an electric motor. Obviously very simple to service, because there's not a lot of moving parts around here in comparison to a petrol car. There we are. So thank you to Picador Vauxhall in Chandler's Ford, which is just to the north of Southampton, letting me take a test drive in this car today. The Corsa-E Elite is priced around £31,000. So it is competitive within the EV market. A lot of people seem to love this car. I can understand greatly why they do. If you haven't already done so, then please do have a look at my petrol Corsa Walkaround that I did about half an hour ago. That'll be already on the channel by the time you see this. I've also done walkarounds of other electric cars like the MG ZS CV. That's one of the most popular videos on the channel. So please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. Like this video, leave a comment below, and if you wish me to source a car for you, I'm still going out to source cars for clients at the moment. Obviously, with the situation being what it is, our dealerships are a little bit quieter than usual, and I will continue going out to find cars for people as long as I'm able to do so. Obviously bearing in mind the sensible guidelines that have been put in place by the government. So my website www.lloydvehicleconsulting.co.uk. And thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching.